We often talk about travel, right? But there's this difference, isn't there, between just seeing a country and, well, truly feeling it.
Yeah.
Like when you rush through, Italy becomes this series of snapshots, famous landmarks flashing by. But what if you picked a pace, a speed so slow, so deliberate, that you actually had to engage with the history, the hills, the local food, I mean, every single kilometer?
That's exactly it. That intentional slowing down, that's really the core of what we're diving into today. We're looking at this incredible undertaking, a coast-to-coast cycle ride called Bike Across Italy.
Coast to coast, wow.
Yeah, it starts on the Adriatic over in La Marche, then climbs and winds through Umbria, the spiritual center, and finally reaches Tuscany, ending up on the Tyrrhenian coast.
Okay, so our mission here is pretty clear then. We want to pull out those key insights, the nuggets of knowledge from the sources that really show the value of this kind of slow travel. We're hunting for the history, the food secrets, the landscape changes that you just completely miss unless you're moving at, well, human speed, not engine speed.
Exactly. And it's not just about ticking off places on a map. The real question is, what do you learn about Italy itself, its identity, when you're physically paying the price, so to speak, to cross its backbone, the Apennine Mountains?
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's start right at the beginning on the Adriatic coast. So the kickoff point is Pesaro. The sources make a point of mentioning the start at the Hotel Excelsior. Sounds lovely, right on the water.
Very symbolic start. And day one, it seems, was really about easing them in. They did this warm-up ride along the Panoramica San Bartolo.
Panoramica sounds scenic.
Yeah, rolling hills, that salty sea air, great views. And then, importantly, the immediate reward, dinner at Lo Scudiero.
Ah, the food. Always important.
Always. But the sources used this first dinner to highlight something else, too, how the group started bonding right away, setting up that sense of camaraderie they definitely need later.
Because later came quickly, didn't it? Day two, they turn inland towards Urbino, and that's where the physical deep dive really started.
Oh, yeah. Those gentle coastal rides, they vanished. It quickly turned into some pretty serious climbs across farmland.
Serious climbs? How serious are we talking?
Well, the sources described it as a real psychological hurdle, these steep grades. But the payoff was immense. Urbino just appears suddenly up on this ridge.
Right, the description was amazing. Towers, domes, looking like something out of a painting.
Exactly. And it is this Renaissance ideal. You arrive, probably exhausted from the climb, and then you're walking straight into the Ducal Palace for a guided tour.
Facing priceless Renaissance art right after conquering a hill. That's quite the contrast.
It's a sensory overload in the best way, and that's the magic, right? You have this deep, quiet history inside the palace walls. But you step outside into the main piazza, and it's alive. Students, musicians, locals chatting. It's that contrast. 15th century grandeur meeting 21st century Italian life. And you appreciate it more because, well, you worked damn hard to get there.
That effort changes everything. Okay, so that sets up the next phase, heading into more ancient territory on day 3. They're off the main tourist roads now and onto the Via Flaminia.
Yeah, and this is where history starts to feel, really tangible under your wheels.
Sure.
The Via Flaminia, this was the main Roman road connecting Rimini up north straight down to Rome.
Wow. So you're cycling on a route built for legions.
Pretty much. Imagine Roman soldiers, supply carts, messengers carrying news across the empire.
Yeah.
And here you are on your bike following that same path. It's a physical connection across 2,000 years.
Did the sources say what it actually felt like? Was it bumpy old cobblestones or?
A mix, apparently. Some parts are paved over now, obviously. But they noted you could still feel the genius of the Roman engineering, how straight the lines were, the efficient grading through the valleys. It guided them towards
Genga. And the highlight there wasn't actually above ground, was it?
No, it was subterranean. The Grotte di Frasassi.
Ah, the cave.
Absolutely spectacular. Huge underground caverns, carved out by the Centino River over millennia. The description was like stepping into another world. The scale, the silence. It apparently just made all the effort above ground kind of melt away for a bit. A total reset.
That kind of dramatic shift surface effort to underground wonder, that's exactly the kind of insight you miss flying over or driving past quickly.
Totally. And back at their hotel that night, Hotel La Grotte, the sources mentioned they had an Italian lesson.
Ah, so leaning into the culture even more.
Yeah, consciously deepening that connection as they went deeper into the country.
Which continues on day 4 as they hit the Apennines proper. the wild heart of Italy, as the sources called it.
Right, this section sounds like pure landscape cycling.
Good.
Lots of climbing, descending, really rugged terrain until they reach Gubbio.
Gubbio. Described as a medieval city just made of stone, right? Looks like it grew out of the mountainside.
It really does. And after that intense ride, they took a cable car, the Funidia, up to the Basilica di San Ubaldo.
A bit of a break for the legs? Or was the view the main point?
Oh, the view was crucial. It gives you this massive perspective. You look back over the valleys you've just crossed. You see the scale of the Apennines. It really hammers home the distance covered since the Adriatic.
Right, puts the effort into context.
Exactly. And the reward, a proper, rustic, hearty Umbrian dinner at Taverna de Lupo. Simple food, but intensely satisfying after a day like that.
Makes sense. Okay, so now we cross into Umbria, the spiritual heartland, as you said. Day 5 is all about reaching Assisi.
And the approach is key. Assisi sits high on a hill, and the sources paint this picture of the town literally glowing in the afternoon sun as the cyclists rode towards it.
You can imagine, after days of physical exertion, arriving at this place synonymous with peace, it must have felt quite profound.
Almost like an emotional release, yeah. And their hotel amplified that feeling. They stayed at the Nun Relais.
A restored monastery.
Yeah, sleeping within those ancient stone walls. It connects you to the history in a way a modern hotel just can't. The whole place radiates this quiet spirituality. They had a local wine tasting dinner, but all within this context of sort of historical calm. A pause.
A necessary pause, I bet. Day 6 was the official rest day. Though rest seems relative here, there was an option for a short loop ride to Spello.
That's right, Spello, known for being just surrounded by these incredible olive groves. Beautiful little town.
But for those who stayed in Assisi, what was the standout historical experience?
Well, the sources pinpoint standing inside the Basilica of St. Francis, looking up at Giotto's frescoes.
Wow, Giotto. Immense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's not just about the art itself, beautiful as it is, it's the context. The idea is that seeing these frescoes, which tell the story of St. Francis after you spend a week pushing your body through the very landscapes you walked,
Yeah.
it elevates it. It's not just looking at art in a museum, it becomes this moment of, like, earned contemplation.
That's it, isn't it? The effort changes how you see things. It makes the connection deeper. Okay, so after that spiritual recharge, day 7 sounds like it was all about Umbrian flavors and crafts.
Very much so. And immersion. First stop was Bavagne. They visited a medieval workshop there and actually learned about traditional papermaking.
Papermaking, interesting detour.
Yeah, this quiet, focused, delicate craft. A real contrast to the physical effort of cycling.
And then came the wine. A climb to Montefalco.
Ah, yes, Montefalco, home of Sagrantino wine.
I've heard of Sagrantino. Intense stuff, right?
Very intense. The grape has this really thick skin, produces wines with serious structure, loads of tannin. The tasting notes described it as experiencing the Umbrian earth, robust, powerful, mirroring the tough mountain terrain they'd been cycling through.
Linking the wine directly to the landscape and the effort, I like that.
It makes sense, doesn't it? And the day finished with another challenge. The final climb up to Todi.
The sources really emphasize the drama of that approach.
Yeah, physically tough, but visually amazing. Todi's towers just shoot up into the sky. It looks like a fortress. They stayed in a converted noble residence right in town. A great way to wrap up the Umbrian leg with good food, wine, and probably a lot of tired laughter.
Definitely earned. Okay, that brings us to the final region, Tuscany. And day 8 starts with another big climb, doesn't it? Up to Orvieto.
It does. A long one this time, a steady 7-mile climb. But crucially, the sources mentioned it was mostly shaded by trees. A small mercy.
7 miles uphill. Wow, but the reward.
The reward is Orvieto itself. This city perched dramatically on a huge plug of volcanic rock, tufa rock.
Right, that volcanic base is so distinctive, and the city built on top is equally dramatic, especially the Duomo.
Oh, the Duomo is spectacular. The facade is covered in these incredible mosaics that just glitter in the sunlight. Imagine seeing that after grinding uphill for miles. Every shimmer must feel magnified.
Like a beacon.
Exactly. But like in Genga, the exploration wasn't just surface level. They also went underground, exploring the miles of tunnels and caves carved into that tufa rock beneath the city.
A whole hidden city, used for what?
Storage, escape routes, wells, workshops, centuries of history hidden right beneath the streets. It's this amazing contrast, the glittering facade of the Duomo above and this ancient hidden network below.
A fantastic metaphor for history itself. And later that evening, something simpler, but maybe just as profound, aperitivo time.
Yes, that classic Italian ritual. The sources quoted one traveler saying that moment, just sitting in the piazza, soaking it all in, sipping a drink, surrounded by history they'd physically cycled into, made them feel deeply, wonderfully Italian.
It's about participating in the normal life of an extraordinary place.
Precisely. It wasn't about seeing another monument, it was about being there.
Okay, day 9. More classic Italian scenery, heading past Lake Bolsena.
A huge volcanic crater lake. Apparently some of the group even stopped for a quick swim. A nice bit of unexpected refreshment before the final push into proper Tuscany.
A swim break, nice. And they end the day in Savannah.
Savannah, yeah. It's a smaller Tuscan town, quieter, but with incredibly deep roots. Etruscan roots, actually, predating the Romans we were talking about earlier.
So shifting historical focus again.
Right. And this stop seemed very focused on Tuscan flavors, specifically olive oil.
The olive oil tasting. Tell me about that.
The description was great. Golden color, intensely peppery, rich flavor. You know, tasting real Tuscan olive oil. It's not just a condiment, it's the essence of the land.
Absolutely.
And dinner followed that theme. A rustic Tuscan meal at Osteria del Giocottino. Appreciated, the sources said, for its simple, quiet charm. A deliberate contrast to some of the grander Renaissance settings.
Grounding them in the local earth again. Okay, the home stretch, day 10, final ride through southern Tuscany towards the coast. But one last quirky stop before the sea.
Yes, the Saturnia Hot Springs.
Oh, I've seen pictures. It looks incredible.
Totally surreal, isn't it? These steaming, milky blue pools just bubbling up in the middle of the countryside. Can you imagine seeing that after 9 days of hard cycling? The ultimate natural spa.
A final dose of geological wonder.
Exactly. Before reaching the ultimate goal, Talamone.
Talamone, the arrival? The Tyrrhenian coast. That must have been quite a moment. Seeing the sea again after crossing the entire country.
Huge emotional payoff. The physical finish line, the mental one too. That evening's celebration dinner sounded like the perfect culmination, full of stories, toasts, laughter, celebrating not just the miles, but the shared effort, the discoveries. A true coast-to-coast achievement.
And then day 11, the goodbyes.
Yeah, bittersweet, the source called it, shuttling off to the train stations, heading for Rome, Florence, Pisa, but carrying more than just luggage, carrying this deep physical understanding of the land, the history, the effort that connects those famous cities.
Which brings us back to that core idea.
Exactly. The powerful takeaway from the source material really was this. This trip wasn't about covering distance efficiently. It was about using time differently, slowing right down. Enough to actually feel the rhythm of the land, to connect with its history directly, not just look at it through a window.
The effort was the key.
The effort was the price of admission, to that deeper understanding.
And that's really what we wanted to bring you today. You've got the context now, that contrast between the easy Adriatic start and the Renaissance heights of Urbino, feeling history under your wheels on the Via Flaminia, the drama of the Frasassi caves and volcanic Orvieto, Giotto's frescoes in Assisi giving spiritual comfort, the punch of Sagrantino wine reflecting the Umbrian hills. All those details you only really grasp when you slow down.
Which leads us to our final thought for you. The sources called this tough bike ride a journey into Italy's soul. But remember the condition. It required hard work, sustained effort, choosing the slow, difficult path on purpose. So if unlocking that kind of profound truth about a place demanded that level of commitment, that physical deep dive, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What challenging, slow endeavor in your own life, in your own world, might reveal its own deep truth. What requires your effort, not just your speed, to truly understand, maybe exploring your own local area, just at the speed of a bike or even just on foot.